Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. I already showcased and have been using for quite some time the ShineMate EB351 312 polisher. That is a battery operated 3-inch polisher with a 12mm throw. And today we are going to take a look at the more powerful, more compact, lighter EX605 312. This is a corded unit. 12mm throw, 3-inch polisher, 500 watts, 2500 to 5500 rotations per minute, a 74mm or 3-inch backing plate, and you could put a 4-inch pad on there. And I'm going to show you the dimensions in just a few short minutes after the unboxing. Absolutely comes with everything you need to get started. Comes with a few pads, comes with a handle that can go on either side depending on which hand you use. Are you left-handed, right-handed? Comes with the Allen key to remove the backing plate, an extra set of brushes, the instruction manual, and another booklet that shows there are other polishers and some other items that you can look into. A closer look segment of the video, we have a well-ventilated backing plate, a push switch on-off button, speed control dial. You get the polishing pads, of course, in the box with it, and a side handle socket cap. You can rest it on its back. It has 2 dimples on the back to keep the polisher balanced, and you can lay it down. No real tactile feedback when it comes to the dial, and never been a fan of these switches. They can bump and turn the machine off or on rather easily. Plenty of venting to keep the machine cool. It does run cool, smooth, and quiet. Venting back towards the dial to keep the electronics and the business end cool. Venting around the shroud to keep your gears and the pad and the backing plate cool as well. Let's take a closer look when it comes to dimensions. This could become important if you're looking for a certain polisher to do a certain job and to fit into certain areas. I have it laying next to the EB351 312 polisher, so you have a little bit of comparison. It's going to be shorter, it's going to be lighter, it's going to be a different drive and motor setup. So you can see here it's almost a full pound lighter than the EB351. And it's time now for the look inside segment, where we can start to tear things down and look inside, look at the inner workings and see what makes these things tick. Before I do so, I'll show you, you can attach this handle. I've never used any handle that ever came with these machines. It hinders where you can fit them, can't get them into tight areas with the handle on, but if you're working on a larger panel, you may want to use it. It's an option. With the supplied Allen key, you can remove the bolt and pull the backing plate away from the polisher, revealing the counterbalance. And by the way, this backing plate is well ventilated. You team that up with some of the pads available out there, and you can really keep the temperature cool down on the panel. Let's continue to tear this thing down. We need to pull the counterbalance away to get access to some of the other screws beneath. And these are, everything is marked 312. The counterbalance, the gears, that's meant to show you everything is machined to be perfectly balanced for a nice smooth ride. You team that up with the right backing plate, the right pad, and the right correction fluids, and you're going to have the best user experience available. Next, we have 4 self-tap Phillips head screws that attaches the shroud to the upper casing. Again, this is a vented shroud. Everything is built to stay cool on the machine. Everything was thought of. That's really good to see. High impact plastic casing as well. Four Phillips head machine screws, and we can finally get to the gears, the ring gear and the pinion gear, and then that will reveal what type of grease was installed from factory. I think we all can guess. There's a plastic spacer to remove, and then just gently wiggle back and forth the casing for the gears. And you can separate everything. You can see the sealed bearing and indeed the cheap factory grease. Obviously, I will be cleaning that crap out of there and putting my own in. I have 2 favorites for my machine. The Schaefer's 238 here, which is an ultra supreme waterproof high temperature grease. I also like Wolf Head's Red. Okay, let's continue to tear this down. Time to get to the business end. This is the casing that covers all the electronics and switches. And all it is just one Phillips head screw, a self-tapping plastic screw. We just gently take our time and slide the casing away from the electronics and the wiring. And what's good to see is the wiring's clean. You have the copper crimp connectors. I can see the carbon brushes, the dial, the 8 amp switch. Everything is nice and neat. Look at the long extension here for the switch, where they could have just put the switch toward the back of the unit and had a different type of switch. But to each their own. Here are the brushes. We need to remove both of these before we go any further. And we have a spring compression little extension here. Pull that up, put it to the side, pull up the carbon brushes from the unit. That will clear us for the next step, and that is 4 machine Phillips head screws here. Then we can pull the casing, the gear casing, and the motor from the rest of the unit and really check out and see what type of build and quality was put into this machine. Gently pull the motor from its carbon brushes, and we can see the directional fan that keeps airflow going through. We have coated field windings, which is great. We have the laminations are nice and clean. We have coated field windings on this side. We have epoxy where the windings connect to the commutator and sealed bearing. This is a nice, high quality build, and I always keep this to show you and compare. This has the directional fan, the field windings are coated, the commutator has epoxy as well with sealed bearings. I always keep this to show you the best quality build. This has it, guys. So we get everything together, and I can finally show you how this works. I'll now operate the machine. I'll correct a small area to show you how effective it is, and I'll let you hear the noise. It has very little vibration. I'm going to show you the sound, the vibration, and the heat that this polisher produces as well. A quality build, a great user experience, smooth, not very loud, has more power than the EB351. Yeah, you have a cord hanging off. I don't mind that. I like the smaller, shorter, and lighter polisher. The EB351 may be nimble because it doesn't have anything connected to it. But all of my ShineMate polishers are still functioning. They're all great. No problem so far, and quality, and I can recommend.